Okay, so we're back. This is the last video of sort of sample rides of my horse Jovi and where he's at in his training. If you haven't seen those other rides, you're going to want to go back and watch them because they're going to tell you a little bit about where he's at in his training. But he is a 5-year-old. He was not ridden hard as a 4-year-old because he's 17-1. He's big. He was having a lot of balance issues, and we just wanted to slowly and quietly build him up. He has drastically changed in the past year. I mean, drastically changed. But as you'll see in the videos, he still has a long way to go to make it to be a top dressage horse. So, and whether he gets there or not, it doesn't matter, because all of this is good training for whatever discipline that he goes on to do. So if you go back and watch the warm-up video, you'll see a little bit how I warmed him up. And now I'm just going to do a really quick video on how I cool him down. This would not necessarily be how you cool every horse down. For one, it is a free walk on a completely free rein. I mean, he is super trustworthy, so you literally can ride him on the buckle. And this is what he's like. He might be a little fresher in the really cold weather, but for sure in this heat, he is just steady Eddie. I mean, I've always said from day one when I got this horse that like his personality is just unbelievable, like to die for, to die for. So what we're going to do, and I just wanted to show this to you because this is legit. This is a legit cool down. This free walk, and I want to show you how he'll offer sort of this same thing in the trot, in the cool downs. And I find that this is a really nice way to just reiterate the free forward swinging of the back like we did in the warm-ups. And so, not every horse will do this. Not every horse is this amenable to this kind of cool down, and not every horse would it benefit to have this kind of cool down. But for this horse, in this stage of his training, this is like really, really, really cool and really good for him. So we'll just up into the trot, and I let him just stretch as much as he wants to stretch down there. I still want to maintain, it's not that I don't have any contact, but I'm not really riding him to the bit. I'm just worrying about the bend of his body and that he kind of flows nice and forward. Again, I'm sort of sloppy with my reins because this isn't about connection. I mean, if he was the kind of horse that wanted to raise his neck and go above the bit and brace his back, this might not be how I would cool them out. Just going to ask for a little bit there. Yeah, just to reinitiate the bend, get him kind of stretching. Because it's really important for me to end my rides, even if I challenge them with something that was difficult. Left rib cage, bud, left rib cage. I want to have that same relaxation or more relaxation than I came out with in the beginning. And so you'll see that left rib cage there again. Left seat bone, left seat bone, left seat bone. Yeah, good. 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 I want to have that same relaxation that I had, or more so than I had in the beginning. I want to have that at the end. And then I will end this video. But now what I do is just as I did when I warmed up, which is I take a hack and I go around the farm and I let him cool down at the walk, and then I'll take him back and hose him off. So that's our cool down. So I'm just kind of doing these videos so that you get a little bit of a feel for each and every horse and how they're different. It's not so much of a how-to do these things. It's a discussion of the individual horses, because I have 3 that are in riding, in training, and they're all very different. And it's really important for you to kind of see them, because what we're going to start talking about, we talked about it a little bit in his warm-up videos, but what we're going to really start talking about here at Reflections from the Saddle is, because of my background in riding, but also in equine health, we're going to really start talking about sort of biomechanics, but use of the body, pain medicine or pain science, really, movement science, like biomechanics. I mean, it's kind of like all those kinesiology, like they all kind of, I feel like they're all little pieces of a larger picture, and that larger picture is what I'm trying to give you a glimpse into. And so we're going to talk about each and every horse and like what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what I've done with them to help build up their weaknesses in a slow, methodical way so that they become less weaknesses for them. And, you know, it's very individualized. I feel like training is very individualized, and what exercise may work for one horse may not work for another. And I have three very different horses. And you will meet them in the other videos, and they all are various ages. And so their training is very different because they're different places on the training scale. And then, of course, with that, they're very differently shaped, very different personalitied. And so, like, that's what I want to give you a glimpse into is, you know, it can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, so the complexity of these things, but it's really not if you start breaking it down into these small segments and you start just working with what you have in front of you and making everything a little bit better every day, every week, every month, every year for that horse. And if you do it in this slow, methodical way, one, you'll be surprised at what you can get and how the horse can change over a period of time. But you also, it's a very benign way without risking, you know, damage to them physically or mentally, because you're doing it in such a nice, slow way. And then, of course, I'm a big proponent of reward-based training, so we'll be talking a little bit more about that, which each one of the horses and how I use that in their training and how that adds a dimension of, you know, really being able to say yes, to build motivation for things, to open up the lines of communication, and to really help them to discover what their body is capable of. You know, we can intellectualize and say, okay, well, you know, our body can do this, but they don't really think that way. They just do what is the most energy efficient for them. And a little bit based on how they're put together is what's energy efficient for them. But they can actually find joy in discovering that, you know, their body can do things that they didn't realize, and that they can have fun doing them. And then that is like a huge door opens then to like the possibilities of what you can train a horse to do and what they can learn to offer. And really, I think, be an important part of training for every horse. So that's what I hope to bring you here at Reflections from the Saddle. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining me. See you guys.